I've always liked the quiet, especially in the mornings. That soft first hour to the start of the day, that warmth of my coffee in between my hands, and the stillness around me. It's soothing, really. But lately, those mornings have felt different. Like the air is thicker, it's harder to breathe. A feeling of being claustrophobic. Like I'm not quite alone. At first, it was just a feeling, nothing solid, an uneasiness, a flicker of the movement in the corner of my eye. I'd shrug it off and blame it on stress, but the feeling lingers, settling deeper each day, and growing roots. A few weeks ago, I started noticing little things, small, insignificant details that shouldn't bother me, like the crease on my hallway rug that's always straightened by the time I get home, even though I don't remember fixing it. Or my curtains, they've been drawn differently, slightly off center as though someone had touched them. And then the morning where I couldn't find my keys, only to spot them later sitting right on the counter where I'd already checked 3 times. I told myself it's nothing. It's just my imagination. But the weight of it, the way it gnaws at the edge of my thoughts, makes it harder to shake. I don't know when it started, but I feel like I'm being watched. As if someone is tracking my every step, memorizing the rhythm of my life, watching me as if I'm performing a private dance through the movements I make. I haven't changed my routine. Routine keeps me sane, it keeps me grounded. I love my routine. Coffee at 7:45, 2 sugars, a splash of cream, 3 sips, then I tie my hair back, lock the door, and leave at exactly 8:15. Every day, the same steps, the same familiar faces at the cafe, the same walk to work. But now that walk feels different. I catch myself glancing over my shoulder, scanning the faces I've seen hundreds of times, wondering if any of them look a little too familiar or out of place. I'm I'm overthinking it. I'm an overthinker. That's what I do. I overthink. That wasn't until last Thursday. That's when I started thinking that I might not be overthinking this. Last Thursday, I had dinner with Steve, a coworker, and nothing serious. But when he was walking me home, it felt like I, I want to say it felt like this feeling of invasion. Not from Steve. Steve is sweet, really a true gentleman. No, it was from something unseen. I swear I saw a figure in the shadows just out of reach, watching, waiting, or learning. I don't know. I try to focus my attention on the figure and make out whether or not it was a trick of the light or actually something, but my investigation was put to a halt by Steve making a move. Ugh, he's sweet, really. He really is, but, well, you know. He leaned in for a kiss, and I quickly turned my cheek, and with an awkward goodnight, I closed my front door behind me, completely forgetting about the initial uneasiness I felt moments before. I was safe. I was at home. I closed my eyes and let the warmth of my little house wrap around me. It wasn't much, but it was my safe space. I took a deep breath in and I slowly exhaled, and as if it were a choreographed dance, I began my nighttime routine that I do every night. But that night, my routine was interrupted. I was washing my face when I heard a soft creak come from down the hall. I froze, hovering over the sink, with my eyes shut, with my cleanser all over my face, straining to listen. The creaks were so soft, but it felt as though any moment something was going to come charging straight towards me. I quickly rinsed my face and turned off the faucet, but as I did, the house was silent again. I ran out into the hall and I was alone. But I noticed that the hallway rug was straightened again. It was fixed. I ran towards my front door because I remembered I forgot to lock it, but as I checked, it was already locked. I'm I'm losing it, I thought to myself. That was until last night. Last night I was trying to read, but my gaze kept drifting to the window, to the darkness beyond my thin little white curtains. I don't know what I expected to see, but when I looked up, there he was, standing across the street, half hidden under the oak tree, just watching. He didn't move, and neither did I. I held my breath as our eyes locked onto each other, the hairs on my arms standing straight up and chills running down my spine. But at the same time, I felt this slight feeling of relief that I wasn't crazy. Someone was watching. He had this expression on his face of fear but excitement, like I was the one who scared him. I thought maybe this was a coincidence. Maybe I'm overthinking. That's what I do. I overthink. Instinctively, I just slowly reached out my hand and closed my curtains and withdrew myself out of sight, even my silhouette from being seen. I paced back and forth in the kitchen, contemplating what to do. What should I do? Call the police? Should I call Steve? I mean, this is crazy. What would I say? That I've been paranoid for weeks, that someone's been watching me, and that now all of a sudden I accidentally lock eyes with a guy randomly outside right at the moment I am sitting by the window? No, I sound crazy. I'm overreacting over a small encounter, a coincidence. It's nothing. I just need to relax. And so that's what I decided to do. Since then, I've stayed inside. I took the day off. I think I just need to relax. I've been so tense lately, and it's making me feel like I'm going crazy. I mean, it's silly, really, to think that I'm being stalked. What? I'm not special. I'm nobody. I'm boring. I mean, who wants to stalk me? Like, my neighbor Beth is far more interesting and prettier than I am. I'm not being stalked. I'm stressed and I am an overthinker. Honestly, a day off was probably exactly what I needed. I feel a little better, and now looking back at it, it's silly to me to think that anything was ever really wrong. I double check my door though, just to make sure it's locked, and I take a quick little glance outside my window just to make sure one last time that no one's there, and no one is there. No one is watching me. I let out a little laugh. I can't believe I let myself believe for a second that I was being stalked. It's nearly midnight, so I decide to take a bubble bath with a glass of red wine to seal the night. I can hear the rain beginning to fall outside, a soft, relentless rhythm against the roof. It's soothing once again. I pour myself a glass of red wine and I make my way down the hall to the bathroom. I leave the door a little cracked, just enough so the hot steam has a way to exit. I climb in and I close my eyes. Oh, I'm safe. I'm okay, and I'm not being stalked. I take a sip and I can't help but giggle again at the thought that I actually believed for a second that I was being stalked. Then I hear it, the sound of a key turning in my front door. My smile drops instantly, and every muscle tensing in my body as that door creaks open. The silence stretches thick and heavy as footsteps cross the threshold, soft but certainly drawing closer. I sit in the tub, frozen, vulnerable, clinging to the desperate hope that I am just imagining it. But as the footsteps reach the edge of my bathroom door, I see him through the crack. His black hair sticking out first, followed by his piercing blue eyes, just watching me. He slowly creaks the door open, his face coming into view, a stranger and yet somehow terrifyingly familiar. My voice catches in my throat, a single word escaping in a trembling whisper. Why? He smiles, a soft, patient smile that sends ice through my veins. He crouches down next to the tub, and as if it's supposed to make sense and answer everything he says, "I'm here, Amelia." Good night.